The Valith ascendancy considered themselves the shepherds of civilization, keepers of order, judges of worth. For millennia, their high council had dictated who among the stars was fit to rise and who was too primitive to be trusted with power. Humanity had been tolerated, studied, and patronized. Fragile primates, the council scholars would sneer, still fighting over dirt and flags, dreaming of gods and ghosts. But the council saw potential value, not in humans themselves, but in Earth's industrious drive, its knack for innovation. So they labeled humanity provisional, granting limited travel rights beyond Sol. Then came Erebus Prime, a colony of 50,000 humans, built with sweat and stubbornness on the edge of council space. It was meant to be a symbol, a handshake between humanity and the stars. Instead, it became a grave. When a trade dispute broke out between human miners and the Threx Dominion, a Valith client species, the council sent arbitrators. The humans expected diplomacy, the Threx expected blood, and the council, in their arrogance, let both happen. On the 21st day of negotiations, a Threx fleet descended without warning. The colony's orbital defenses, civilian-grade platforms, fell in minutes. The attackers broadcast the assault live across the galactic net. They burned the colony domes, vaporized the transport bays, and hunted survivors through the ice fields for sport. The last transmission from Erebus Prime was a woman's voice breaking through static. "Tell Earth, tell them they called us fragile." Then, silence. The mockery of the council. The council chamber was a cathedral of arrogance. Marble pillars reaching into holographic constellations, and seats carved for species who had long forgotten humility. Councillor Varan of the Valith stood before the assembly, her silvery crest gleaming. "The human colony acted without sanction," she declared, "and provoked a dominion under our protection. Their destruction, while regrettable, is a consequence of insolence. Let this be a lesson. The primitives must learn restraint." Murmurs of agreement filled the hall. The Threx ambassador chuckled, his voice a low rasp. "Fragile things break when they reach too high. They should have stayed on their blue rock." Laughter followed. A few dissenters, mostly from younger idealistic species, protested the massacre. They were silenced by rhetoric, by threats, by fear. Humanity had no seat at this table, no voice, and so the council voted. A single decree, broadcast across 1,000 systems. Humanity is to be contained, their expansion suspended, their colonies subject to oversight. The message was meant to be final, a diplomatic execution, but the galaxy had misjudged its target. The long silence weeks passed, then months. The humans said nothing. No protests, no retaliatory strikes. Earth's trade fleet stopped responding to hails. Ambassadors withdrew. Ships that entered Terran space never came back. The council interpreted it as submission. "They are retreating into their cradle," said Councillor Varan. "They will learn humility or vanish in isolation." But others began to whisper. Freighters traveling near the human frontier reported unusual traffic. Massive energy signatures near Mars and Titan. Orbital shipyards glowing red through the storms of Jupiter. Still, no statement came, until one day every major communication hub in council space flickered. The screens turned black. A single emblem appeared. A stylized globe surrounded by 13 stars. Then came the voice, human, calm, precise. "This is Earth Command. You have taken from us 50,000 souls. You have declared us fragile. We will show you what fragility truly means." The message ended, and the stars began to change. Full. The Iron Awakening at. First, the reports were dismissed as panic. Sensor stations at the edge of human space detected movement, gravitational disturbances, energy emissions rivaling planetary cores. When probes approached, they vanished. Then came the first sightings. On the Valith frontier, a merchant convoy stumbled upon something vast, a formation of ships unlike anything recorded. Monolithic silhouettes, black as event horizons, moving in perfect silence. Each one was a kilometer-long fortress, their hulls built from layered tungsten carbide plating and self-healing composites. Their drives did not emit plasma or light, they bent the void itself. No insignia, no signals. Only a single transmission pinged across the convoy's systems before they were destroyed. Iron speaks. Within days, the entire border network went dark. Earth had not gone silent out of fear. It had gone silent to prepare. For 2 centuries, humanity had studied, copied, and miniaturized alien technology. They had reverse-engineered hyperdrives, plasma forges, and antimatter reactors. And when the Council caged them, they used every scrap of knowledge to build one thing: retribution. The day the stars went out, the Valeth homeworld, Carith Prime, was a jewel of civilization, oceans of liquid crystal, cities suspended in atmosphere, palaces orbiting suns. On the day of reckoning, their skies dimmed. A dozen objects entered the system, moving faster than light could track. The defense grid activated, millions of drones, interceptors, and orbital cannons. The fleet admiral shouted orders, but the objects were not ships, they were spears. Titanic kinetic warheads, each carrying the mass of a mountain, descending in silence. The first one struck the moon, vaporizing it in an instant. The shockwave turned night to fire. Then came the second, the third. When the planetary shields flared to life, they were met by coordinated orbital strikes, human ships decloaking like specters. Sleek, angular dreadnoughts painted matte black, their hulls lined with rail batteries the size of skyscrapers. A human voice broadcast over all frequencies. "This is Fleet Admiral Saren of the Terran Response Armada. You killed 50,000 civilians. You called us fragile. Consider this our correction. What followed was not a battle. It was execution. Within an hour, Carith Prime's orbital defenses were gone. The Council's flagship, Eminence Dawn, was split in half by a tungsten rod accelerated to 20% of light speed. The Valeth fleet attempted retreat. The humans pursued, their ships rewriting the laws of combat with precision no alien fleet could match. Every escape corridor was predicted. Every signal jammed. And when the final Valeth capital ship detonated, humanity did not cheer. They did not taunt. They simply moved to the next target. The Council's last session. In the ruins of the once great Council spire, delegates screamed over one another. Worlds burned. Empires collapsed. Entire sectors were cut off from communication. "They're slaughtering us," shrieked the Threx ambassador. "They've hit 8 of our colonies." Councillor Varan, once proud and composed, now trembled. "We must sue for peace." A shadow fell over the chamber. The holoscreens flickered again. This time, no emblem appeared, only a live feed. The bridge of a Terran dreadnought. Admiral Saren stood at its center. Behind him, through the viewport, hung the shattered remains of a Valeth city in orbit. "Council of the Ascendancy," he said, voice low, measured, deadly. "You declared judgment upon us. You called us primitives, fragile, beneath your order. This is humanity's verdict," he gestured, and stars appeared on a tactical map. Hundreds of Council worlds, blinking red. "For every life you took on Erebus Prime, we have taken 10 of yours. For every insult, every lash of arrogance, we will extract the cost in fire. You decreed containment. We decree extinction. Of the ascendancy, not of life, but of dominion." Councillor Varan, her voice breaking, whispered, "You can't. Humanity was supposed to be fragile?" The feed cut. Moments later, orbital bombardment began. Sevenths. The retribution. The Terran Armada became legend before the war even ended. They struck with precision, not chaos. Civilian populations were spared where possible, but military and administrative targets were obliterated with surgical brutality. Entire fleets surrendered without firing a shot. Others chose suicide over capture. One Valeth admiral's final log was recovered decades later. "They do not shout. They do not rage. They move like inevitability itself. Their silence is louder than our screams." The galaxy watched as the once untouchable Council fractured. Member races fled, renounced their allegiance, or begged Earth for mercy. Humanity granted none. They had been denied a voice in the halls of power. Now they spoke in the only language the galaxy understood. Iron. Fire. Silence. Eat. The ashes of Empires 5. Years later, the Ascendancy ceased to exist. The Council chambers, now a cratered ruin, were declared a neutral memorial world. Though no humans set foot there, they left it as it was, a monument to arrogance. Humanity did not claim territory. They did not demand tribute. They simply withdrew. Their fleets vanished beyond the rim, returning to Sol and the colonies that survived. Only automated satellites remained, orbiting the ruins of former Council worlds. Silent sentinels broadcasting a single repeating phrase in 1,000 languages. Never again. And across the galaxy, the phrase took root. Children of alien races learned it in schools. Smugglers whispered it in dark ports. Soldiers etched it into armor. No one provoked Earth again. The legend of fragility centuries passed. Empires rose and fell. The scars of the Iron retaliation became history, then myth. But every so often, explorers stumbled upon the remnants, the orbiting husks of Valith cities, still scorched from kinetic bombardment, or the silent Terran sentinels, still watching, still transmitting, never again. And scholars debated endlessly, how could a species so young, so fragile, destroy a civilization 10,000 years older? No answer satisfied. Some said it was technology, others said it was desperation. But those who truly studied humanity, their art, their wars, their stories, knew the truth. It was never their weapons that made them strong. It was the will behind them, the refusal to kneel, the iron beneath the flesh. The Council had looked at humanity and seen weakness. They had seen a soft world of dreamers and fools. They never saw the iron, forged in centuries of war, tempered by loss, sharpened by defiance. And by the time they did, it was already too late. Epilogue. The echo of iron in the void between stars. A Terran battleship drifts, its hull scarred, its nameplate half erased by time, Erebus's vow, its engines are dead, but one beacon still blinks, transmitting endlessly into the darkness. A voice, calm and unyielding, repeating words spoken long ago. They declared us fragile. They saw iron instead, and across the void, even after ages of silence, the stars remember, because vengeance fades, but iron endures.